F2F meeting natin sa hoping na next week meron na tayong F2F na meeting. Okay. So now that we are already on 34, since wala pa rin tayong face-to-face na classes, so we push back pa yung quiz siguro over the coming next meeting siguro. And kung mag F2F, so pagdasal natin na sana meron para magabayan din kayo ng maayos as we do yung exercise na yon. So we skip muna yung part na yon and let us discuss yung inelastic bending. So inelastic bending, balikan lang natin yung mga assumptions natin. Una ay planes will remain plane. Diba? Then, ina-assume din natin na beam is straight. Then, in equilibrium. Then, ano pa nga ba to? Beams will remain straight. So, yep, in equilibrium. Then, lastly, ay stress is proportional. Stress is proportional to strain. So ito yung mga listahan ng mga assumptions na kino-consider natin along the line. And as mentioned, this was discussed in your 102. And ito yung balak natin na baliin over our CE18 na special topics of flexure. And this time, what we wanted to rationalize is if, for example, you have a cross-section. So you have a sample na rectangular cross-section. Our procedure will be, if we have this cross-section right here, we find yung centroid, and ang inassume natin ay yung centroidal axis is also your neutral axis. And if that is the case, what we are expecting with our my over I na formula ay yung stress profile natin will be proportional. So, meron tayong proportionality between stress and its distance from the neutral axis. Parang ito yung naging resulta ng 4 na assumptions listed over here. Pero syempre, yung last na binali natin is beam cross-section. So ito yung previously na natakal natin under unsymmetrical bending. Pero this time, yung babaliin natin na part ay ito, yung stress being proportional to strain. Bakit? Kasi, ang ina-assume kasi natin dito sa beam na ito ay yung extreme fiber, right here, as highlighted here, experiences yung tinatawag na yield na strain. Ay yield na stress. So it already reaches yung yielding. And if it already reaches yung yielding, so babalikan lang natin yung formula natin. So we have M, tapos yung Y max natin, over yung I neutral axis natin. And kung i-jumble natin to a little bit, so you have sigma Y, tapos meron kang I neutral axis over Y max. This turned out, itong M na ito, yung M sub capital Y natin. So this is not in relation dun sa unsymmetrical bending natin. Yung M sub Y natin becomes what's called yung yielding moment. Ang sinasagot lang natin, ano yung kailangan mo na moment such that yung maximum fiber within your cross-section experience yung yield stress natin. So, simplify pa natin. So, meron kang M sub Y. Magagamit nyo to sa 151 ninyo. Sigma sub Y times S sub X. S sub X is what's called your section modulus. So yung section modulus is equals to INA over Y max. Yan yung parang isang cross-section property na magiging available sa inyong CE151. Ito yung isa sa mga tinitignan ninyo. So, kailangan lang dun sa section modulus, i-multiply mo lang with the yield stress, makukuha mo na yung yielding na moment. Pero, si engineer, parang kung titignan niya, hindi pa fully optimized yung cross-section. Kasi what happens if tinry mo pa na lakasan ng konti, hindi pa naman not, to the point na magbe-break siya. Hindi. Pwede pang mangyari kasi na your cross-section will not fail, but instead it will exhibit what's called a non-linear na parang magiging non-linear na yung relationship between stress and strain, pero hindi pa siya mabibreak. Yun yung sinasabi na why not explore yung non-linear na part. Kunin natin as in yung yung tinatawag na theoretical maximum. I-optimize natin fully yung cross-section natin. I-optimize to the point na ang ina-anticipate niya, if you have this cross-section right here, para masabi na to the point of breaking, this is your neutral axis again, the expected theoretical maximum is all of the fibers on the compression side already experiences yielding and nag-yield na din yung lahat ng fibers on the tensile side. So ito yung theoretical maximum. Na gusto ni engineer na habulin in the first place. Pero it already breaks yung isa sa fundamental assumption natin. Hindi na natin magagamit yung paradigm ng My over I kasi stress is no longer proportional to strain. And if we're going to mention proportionality, there are some materials that are not proportional in nature. Like for example, you have plastic. Plastic is hindi proportional yung stress sa strain niya. Yung stress ay exponential. So meron kang sample lang, so 20 GPa, tapos meron tayong epsilon dito raised to 1/4. Parang ganyan na yung relationship between stress and strain. And kapag ganito yung relationship between stress and strain, this is no longer linear. All of the assumptions that we have established dun sa 102 natin, these 5 assumptions to establish yung My over I, no longer applies. So how do we go on about this? So parang yun yung gusto nating masagot sa inelastic na. So hindi na proportional yung stress sa strain or possible na lumagpas na sa proportional limit yung nararanasan na stresses ng mga fibers natin. So to recall, your material property a stress-strain diagram. So you have stress on the y-axis, strain on the x-axis. And meron tayong tinatrack na tinatawag na proportional na part. So ito yung elastic region kung saan proportional yung stress strain represented by what's called yung modulus of elasticity, yung E. Then, after that, marireach mo yung proportional limit, then yung yield limit. Pero in our case, meron tayong ina-assume na tinatawag na perfectly plastic na material on which una, equal yung proportional limit sa yield limit. So, pag yield limit kasi, ibig sabihin nito ay meron ka ng permanent deformation. Ibig sabihin, kapag na-exceed mo yung proportional limit and sinabi na equal to the yield limit, whatever happens here, beyond that, ay magkakaroon ka na ng permanent deformation. So, pag sinabi naman natin na perfectly plastic, wala nang strain hardening, wala nang necking na nangyari, your graph for the stress-strain diagram ay flat. flat yung stress strain diagram natin. So, parang we are kind of representing ngayon yung stress as a piecewise function. Piecewise function na we are tracking the following. Yung una is epsilon sub y, and yung pangalawa is yung sigma sub y. Okay. First one is sigma sub y, epsilon sub y. Yung piecewise function features the following. Your stress is equals to whatever yung strain multiplied by sigma sub y over epsilon y if epsilon is less than epsilon y. Less than or equal to epsilon y. Yung second na function natin ay sigma sub y if epsilon is greater than epsilon sub y. So ito yung piecewise na function natin. And kailangan mo siyang i-account for dun sa listahan ng assumptions natin from earlier. What do you mean by listahan ng assumptions natin from earlier? Ang daming daming palabas-labas ng room. Sige, pasok muna natin. Babalikan lang natin on how we arrived at the my over I in the first place. Yung pinaka-crucial na part ay yung dalawang equilibrium equation natin. Doon naman palagi nagsisimula yung ating analysis. Yung una analysis natin, summation of forces along the axis of the member ay equal to 0. And if we're going to mention stresses, what we are simply establishing is yung stress, yung stress field over your cross-section, if in-integrate mo siya with respect to its entire area, ay dapat equal to 0 siya. This will signify that there are some areas within your cross-section that experiences compression and meron kang neutral axis on which nagsiserve siya as your cutoff, and dun sa cutoff na yon, ang pinaghihiwalay niya is yung regions na nakakaranas ng compression dun sa regions na nakakaranas ng tension. Yan yung nangyayari on this. And dapat, yung total force na naranasan dun sa compression na side ay equal dun sa forces na naranasan dun sa tension na side. Nagkokontrahan lang sila and dapat maging equal to 0 lang. Mag-admit lang ulit, medyo nahirapan ata tayo sa remote na setting sa internet connection natin. Now, you have compression na equal to tension. And ang consequence nito, actually, in our typical, so our ES102 na symmetrical elastic bending, ang consequence itong equation na to, this will enable you to find yung neutral axis na equal to your centroidal axis. Bakit naging equal itong dalawa? So suppose na meron kang function, so considering pa rin na elastic pa rin. So in-assume natin na stress is proportional to strain. What you have is stress is equals to sigma max over y max times y. So yung y is yung distance mo from the neutral axis. We are defining y as distance over your neutral axis where your stress is equals 0. So kapag pinasok natin tong equation na to into this integral right here, so what we have is meron kang sigma max over y max. Then you have yung integral dito. Then ang natira sa loob is yung y na kasama ng dA is equals to 0. So ito will be your first moment of area. So ito yung first moment of area natin. And to establish that this satisfies this equation right here, this is never equal to 0. this must be equal to 0. So it is through this first equilibrium equation, it applies all the time sa unang equilibrium equation natin. By observing this first equilibrium equation, mahahanap natin kung nasaan si neutral axis. Yun yung sa unang equilibrium equation natin. So for the second equation, yung second equation natin, summation of moment ay equal to whatever yung bending moment na naranasan natin, and it boils down to you have y sigma dA. And dun sa symmetrical bending natin from ES102, ulit, yung symmetrical elastic bending natin, yung 5 assumptions na yon ay yung rather yung 4 na assumptions, ang makukuha mo from this is kung sinubstitute natin yung value ng ng hypothesis, yung value ng sigma mo, so meron kang y squared dA, so meron kang sigma max over y max is equals to m. And yung tinatry pa na i-observe, yung sigma max over y max is basically equal to sigma over y. And this becomes your I at the neutral axis. And this further transforms to m is equals to sigma INA over y. And transforming this, meron kang sigma is equals to my over I. So, diyan nanggaling yung assumption, second na assumption natin. So, to get yung bending moment, yung multiply yung y with respect to your, parang y, yung moment arm, yung sigma dA, yung force natin. Yun yung nangyayari dyan. Now, employing that, balikan natin itong part na ito, it will result in something like you are better to show than to tell. So, better showing than telling. So, showing than telling, so meron kang example. Halimbawa ay meron kang pinaka-basic, rectangular na cross-section. Okay, rectangular na cross-section. Takes time para mag-draw. Tayo mabilis mag-drawing. So, meron tayong rectangular na cross-section. Lagyan natin yung dimensions. This is 100 mm. This is 600 mm. Then, nagbigay tayo ng sigma sub y to be equal to 20 megapascals. Then, inassume din natin na sige, okay lang yan. Sigma sub y is equals to 20 megapascals. Then, inassume natin na let me just kailangan. Okay. Nag-assume tayo na una ay yung first case, extreme fiber, yung nag-yield. Yan yung unang scenario na explore natin over this cross-section. Second scenario is yung about 50 millimeters in to the cross-section, yung nag-yield. Then yung third scenario natin, all fibers yield. Ito yung kailangan natin na i-consider. Extreme fiber ng yield yung tatlong scenario na i-explore natin on top of explicitly saying muna na perfectly plastic. Perfectly plastic. Yung material natin. So yung unang scenario, what this proposes is that your cross-section, if we're going to make yung stress diagram nito, nung cross-section natin, ay nag-yield yung extreme fiber. So nag-yield yung extreme fiber. So if we're going to check na sigma is equals to sigma sub y, sigma is equals to sigma sub y, below that, linear pa rin yung relationship. So linear pa rin yung relationship. So yung assumptions in establishing my over I still applies. So pag ginawa natin yon, into finding ano yung bending moment na kinokos nito, so that would require us to provide yung sigma, yung I, pati yung Y max. Yung I for this cross-section, since pwede pa natin masabi na yung centroidal axis ay equal to the neutral axis, so pwede natin gamitin yung 1 over 12 BH cube. So yung 1 over 12 BH cube yung ating I. Yung Y max natin, since nasa gitna, pwede nating sabihin na 300 mm. So, substitute lang natin lahat. So, meron tayong 100 times 600 cube divided by 12. So, meron kang 1,800,000. 1,800,000 millimeter raised to 4. Yan yung I natin. And we can simply substitute everything. So, using the normal procedure natin, so you have 20, so ilagay lang natin Newton per millimeter squared, yung MPa natin. Then, meron tayong 1,800,000. Then, i-divide natin siya by 300. So, 20. Ay, hindi. Ano pala? 1.8 billion pala to. So, kulang ng zero. Kulang ng 3 zero. 1 billion pala siya. Bitin. Kulang ng 3 zero. So, divided by 300. So, meron tayong moment. So, for this to happen, kailangan meron daw bending moment na equal to 120 million Newton millimeter. Kung i-convert natin to kilonewton meters, this is 120 kilonewton meters. So yan yung force na kailangan on this. Sa unang scenario natin. Yung pinopropose ng second scenario, so scenario number 2 ay about 15 mm into the cross-section yung nag-yield. So 50 mm into the cross-section yung nag-yield. Since symmetrical yung ating cross-section, so doon muna tayo magsimula. So pwedeng i-consider na 50 on both ways. So 50 here, 50 here. So about 50 mm, sabi daw, ay dito nag-initiate yung yielding. So sigma y ito, sigma y ito. Pero what happens past that 50 mm mark? Past that 50 mm mark, it exhibits yung perfectly plastic na behavior right here. So uniform na lang yung relationship between stress and parang no matter what strain it is, as long as it's greater than the yielding strain, already yielding stress na yung nararanasan ng inyong cross-section. So you have this as your stress diagram. Babalikan natin yung usapan ng strain. So hold on lang tayo dyan. So ito yung ating stress diagram. So hindi na natin magagamit yung my over I. Pero magagamit natin yung equilibrium equations natin. Yung unang equilibrium equations natin, summation of forces along x, sigma dA is equals to 0. This would require us to, since we're integrating with respect to area, this would require us to break this down into different na force blocks. So kung i-ano natin yung cross section. So you have this cross section right here. You have fibers na rectangular yung stress block. So, meron kang rectangular stress block na ganito, compression, so into the page. Then, pababa hanggang sa supposed na neutral axis natin, meron tayong triangular stress block. Isa. And siguro ibahin natin yung color coding nito. This is another stress block. Then, meron pa tayong pangatlong stress block na linear din, na triangular din. Ganito. Yan yung ano natin, triangular stress block natin. Then yung last na stress block natin ay rectangular ulit. So you have 4 stress blocks na kailangan i-consider. And for each stress block, kailangan natin siyang kuhanan ng forces. So meron tayong oil boils down. Meron tayong force 1 applied sa centroid niya. Meron tayong force 2 applied dun sa centroid niya. Meron tayong force 3 na applied sa centroid niya. And force 4 na applied sa centroid niya. So these are your 4 forces. Supposedly, dapat yung pagkakasetup mo is such in a way na in equilibrium ito. Nagkokontrahan lang sila. So if we're going to evaluate, so meron kang for the first stress block, so itong F1, yung width nito ay 100 mm. Ito, 50 mm. So yung area on which yung yield stress natin ay distributed into, so meron tayong 20 MPa times 100 mm times 100 mm. Yan yung magiging force kay force 1. And consequently, ganun din yung makukuha natin kay force 4. 20 MPa, pero in tension ito, so pakabila yung direction, 100 mm, 100 mm, and this one, yung triangular na stress block naman natin, we follow yung rules ng ating triangle. So yung triangle natin will feature, so meron kang 1/2 times 20 MPa times height. So yung height ay till the centroid. So kung 50 na ito, this is 250. So i-assume muna natin kung tama ba doon sa part na yan. So 250 mm. So show and tell lang muna tayo. And meron kang 100 mm na width. F3, ganun din makukumpit natin. 1/2, 20 MPa, 250 mm, 100 mm. So if we're checking this, nagkokontrahan lang sila. And this, nagkokontrahan lang sila. So, in equilibrium yung ating cross-section. So, masaya pa pag symmetrical pa yung ating cross-section. So, wala pa tayong pagpapawisan ng malamig dito sa part na to. So, there's that. The other equilibrium equation will be yung m sub y is equals to y sigma dA. Now, apart from evaluating now yung mga forces, so isa-isahin ko lang, so 20 times 100 times 100, so meron tayong 200,000 newtons dito. We also have 200,000 newtons dito.
Sir, may tanong ako.
Yep, you go.
Sir, yung F1, bakit hindi 20 times 50 mm? But
Okay,
Diba
okay.
yung,
Okay, thank you for pointing it out. Oo, na hindi ko nakita yung ano. So, 50, tama. 50 ito, 50 din ito. Na mali lang ako ng tingin. Okay? So, this is 100, this is 100. 100,000, 100,000. Thank you, Zach, for pointing that out. Kasi na lang, nandiyan. Okay, mag-admit muna tayo sa room. May nawala ulit. May nawala ulit. Okay. So, My is equals to Y sigma dA. What this actually tells us is lahat ng mga force blocks mo, kunin lang natin yung sum, ng lahat ng mga force blocks natin with its distance from the neutral axis. Parang ginaganyan lang natin siya. So, yep. So, 100 newtons. Then yung sa pangalawa, 10 times 250 times 100. So, meron tayong 250,000 dito sa blue. Then, meron pa tayong 250,000 dito. Okay. And kailangan lang natin evaluate na ano yung distance niya from the neutral, what we established to be the neutral axis, which we have correctly guessed. Simula. So, itong una ay meron kang 50, nasa centroid siya, so 25 from the edge, 25 mm from the edge. I-minus sa 300, meron kang 275 mm. Yung sa blue one, since triangle siya, so 2/3 from the neutral axis, so meron kang 250 times 2 divided by 3, so meron kang 166.67 mm. Sa violet, ganun din, 166.67 yung location nung centroid niya. Then yung sa green, ganun din yung distance niya. Itong green na to, 275 mm. So yun yung i-account for natin dito. And all of them, so isa-isahin natin . So ito yung neutral axis. F1 is causing a counterclockwise rotation. Si F2 is also causing a counterclockwise rotation with respect to here. F3 is also causing a counterclockwise rotation. F4 is also causing a counterclockwise rotation. So nag-a-add up lang silang lahat. So meron kang R times F. So isa-isahin natin. Meron tayong 100,000 times 275. Tapos meron kang 250,000 times 166.67 mm plus 250,000 times 166.67. Then lastly, meron tayong 100,000 times 275. So all in all, meron kang, kumpitin lang natin, little bit. Meron kang 138,335,000 Newton millimeter, or converting it to kilonewton meters, meron kang 138.34 kilonewton meters. If we're checking, mas malaki si 138.34 kaysa kay 120. So, ibig sabihin, by allowing your material to go beyond yung elastic limit natin, pwedeng mas malakas na moment yung kaya niyang i-sustain. Pero hindi pa ito yung theoretical maximum. So, yung theoretical maximum is yung pinopropose nung pangatlong case scenario natin. Yung pangatlong case scenario natin ay lahat ay nag-yield. Lahat dito nag-yield. Lahat dito nag-yield. Sigma Y, lahat. Yan yung pangatlong case na scenario natin. And again, as we will guess it correctly, over this double symmetrical na cross-section, nasa gitna lang naman yung ating neutral axis. In a way, na kapag ginawa natin ng stress block to, so meron kang compression, meron kang tension, nagka-cancel out lang yung dalawa. So yung compression natin is 100 times 300 times 20. So meron tayong 600,000 dito and 600,000 din dito na nagka-cancel out lang on top of one another. Then, kung gusto natin kunin yung moment, ganun lang din, y sigma dA. Pero this time, lahat nung natin, so if we're going to describe yung stress diagram natin, yung stress natin na function ay equal to sigma y. So meron ka lang dito na y sigma d. Okay. So meron ka rito na, so yan lang natin, ito yung piecewise function natin. So sigma, positive sigma y, if y is greater than 0 or equal to 0, equal to 0, negative sigma y if y is less than 0. So yan yung description ng piecewise function ng ating stress diagram. So kapag in-implement natin siya over this equation right here, so we have 600,000 times 150. So pwede natin sabihin na this is negative 600,000 times negative 150 for the compression. For the tension, meron kang 600,000 times 150. So 600,000 times 150 twice, meron tayong 180 million. 180 million, kulang pa dalawang zero, Newton millimeters. And if convert natin siya to kilonewton meters, meron tayong 180 kilonewton meters. So ito yung theoretical maximum. So from the yield, so kung yield lang yung natin, yung i-consider natin na maximum, 120 lang yung impression natin na kaya niya. Pero kung isasagad talaga natin, yung to the point na mabibreak siya to its breaking limit, yung limit na to is 180 kilonewton meters. So may ilalakas pa siya. And actually, we will no longer term this as m sub y. Rather, we will term this as m sub p. So what we are describing here is what's called plastic moment. Plastic moment is the theoretical maximum of your cross section. And yung m sub y naman natin, ito yung yield limit natin. So ito yung m sub y natin. And if meron tayong bending moment, so merong applied na bending moment, if m is less than m sub y, pwede nating sabihin na elastic pa rin yung bending moment. Okay? If m is in between m sub y and m sub p, this is what's known as elastoplastic. This indicates that there are some fibers that are still within the elastic limit. Proportional pa rin yung relationship between stress and strain. But there are other fibers that already exceeds yung yield strain. So parang na siya, nasa yielding stress na yung nararanasan. And yung theoretical maximum natin, so M is equals to M sub P, plastic. So wala nang greater than M sub P. Yan na yung upper ceiling ng inyong cross section. Questions so far? Sorry, may nasa waiting room pa pala. Questions? So due to inelastic bending, so we are now defining moments that are beyond the elastic limit. So how do we then establish yung procedure? Ano yung mga universal truths when analyzing inelastic na cross-sections? Yung una talaga nating i-rely on what is the universal truth, always the universal truth, apart from having your beam being in equilibrium, is planes will remain plane. After bending. Planes will remain plane after bending. This indicates that your deformation will be linear. Planes will remain plane after bending, magiging linear lang yung deformation kasi you have this cross-section right here, then yung deformation, so magsi-stretch out, magko-compress siya sa taas, magsi-stretch siya sa baba. So ito, yung planes will remain plane. Ito pa rin yung profile nung strain. Deformation. So yung deformation natin will always be linear. Will always be linear over what's called neutral axis. So, tinitake note ko lang na ito yung y-axis natin, yung pababa. Deformation will remain linear. So, neutral axis, actually, ang definition niya, neutral axis is where or surface. Neutral axis or surface is where deformation is equal to 0. Okay. So, what does this deformation then is telling? Pag sinabi naman natin doon sa second assumption, na beam is straight. Kapag sinabi natin na straight yung beam, if we're going to select an infinitesimal segment ng inyong beam, you have an original length na uniform all throughout. So, same original length. Yung deformation is change in length. Deformation is change in length. So kapag straight yung beam, same lang naman yung original length niya. Kapag pinag-add mo yung dalawa, ay yung strain natin will be linear. Pero kaya mababali din kasi natin tong assumption na to kapag curve yung ating beam, hindi na pare-pareho yung original length ng mga fibers natin. So yung fiber sa taas ay mas maikli kumpara sa fiber na nasa baba. So different original lengths and therefore magiging non-linear na yung strain. Pero if yung beam is straight, along with the second assumption right here, you would establish that strain is linear after bending. Ito yung crucial na part. So, after establishing that your strain is linear after bending, so you establish that there exists this what's called strain profile. You have yung strain profile, yung neutral axis natin is established where strain is equals to 0. And yung y-coordinate natin ay ganito. Nagkakatalo lang ngayon kapag sa inelastic bending, if we're going to transform strain to stress. So we go beyond the proportional limit. Hindi na natin ma-establish, not necessarily na true, baliktad, na true, we need to learn na, okay, check natin yung strain profile natin, tapos, alamin natin whether yung strain exceeded yung So this is, halimbawa, na-establish natin yung point kung saan equal to sigma sub y, epsilon sub y, yung ano natin, yung strain natin. Ibig sabihin, past this, kailangan na natin i-observe itong stress profile. So inulit lang natin yung discussion. So pina-formalize lang natin. If this is your stress strain diagram, and ito yung ating epsilon sub y. So what we are simply doing here is, halimbawa, nag-select ako ng point dito. Yung point dito ay yung strain na nakuha banda dito. So pag kinonvert ko siya kay stress, linear lang siya. Okay. Pag dito kumuha, okay, epsilon sub y, yung nakuha kong strain, epsilon sub y, tako lang pataas, yung stress ko is yielding strain, yielding stress. Okay. Pagdating dito, greater than epsilon sub y, so halimbawa banda na dito yung nakukuha ko. Ang nakukuha ko na ngayon na sigma ay sigma sub y. And pagdating dito, halimbawa banda na siya dito, ito yung strain ko, nakukuha ko na na stress ay yielding stress pa rin. So kapag ganyan yung relationship na nakuha natin, so over dun sa nasa babang portion, so dito, okay, linear. Then meron kang epsilon sub y sigma sub y dyan. Pass dun sa yield, sa proportional limit natin, magpa-plateau na siya. Pa-plateau na siya, ganyan. Only after then, ilalagay natin siya dun sa context ng inyong cross-section. So, dun sa context ng inyong cross-section, so what you have is some stress profile right there. You need to establish that una, sigma dA is equals to 0. In-integrate mo siya. Yung second, kapag kinuha mo na yung moment arm niya, equal siya sa bending moment na nagko-cause ng strain. Now, how it will, paano siya magiging complicated? So, simulan muna natin siguro sa triangle. Pinaka-simple lang, triangle. So, you have a triangular cross-section. Simulan natin sa triangle. Pero, hindi ko ipapa-explore sa inyo yung elastoplastic na part. Okay? So, we have this triangle right here. And yung triangle features the following dimensions. H ay equal to 300. B ay equal to 300. Okay. We have this cross-section right here. Then, kung binigyan tayo ng sigma sub y to be equal to 250 megapascals, ang tinatanong, ano yung moment na magkakos ng yield strain, parang yielding sa extreme fiber, and ano yung magiging plastic moment niya. Ano itong dalawa? Now, hindi na siya doubly symmetrical. Isa na lang yung axis of symmetry niya. So, hindi na straightforward yung, to the very least, sa inelastic bending, isang symmetric axis of symmetry. Kasi mahirap na kapag dalawa yung, wala kang axis of symmetry. Hindi na siya nag-apply. Hindi kayo bibigyan ng ganong topics na na walang axis of symmetry. So, kailangan meron kang isang axis of symmetry. So, M sub y, M sub b. So, yung sa M sub y, let's try na kunwari ay huwag natin gamitin yung my over I. So, huwag natin gamitin yung my over I. So, paano nga yung procedure? We assume that strain or rather deformation remains linear. Since we're dealing we take for granted these first two assumptions, so we are saying na yung strain nito ay linear. Sinabi natin na strain ay linear. Okay. Now, ano yung kailangan natin establish? Meron akong tinatawag na origin. Yung origin na to is yung aking neutral axis. Hindi ko pa alam kung nasaan yung neutral axis ko. Yun yung hindi pa natin na-determine. And ina-assume lang natin na sa neutral axis 0. Okay. Then magiging linear yung relationship. Linear yung relationship. So, binabalanse lang natin to, pero alam natin na dun sa extreme fiber ay epsilon sub y yung mararanasan na strain. Epsilon sub y, which is equals to sigma sub y over E. Yan yung tinitake for granted natin. Epsilon sub y is equals to sigma sub y over E. We assume that there is some distance, halimbawa na 8, wag h. So may R ng h. H sub O. Yan. Hinahanap tayo na H sub O. Right there. Then, what happens next? Yung gagawin natin sunod, from strain, gagawin natin siyang stress. Stress, ito yung sigma sub y, right here. Then, using similar triangles, meron akong value ng stress dito to be equal to sigma sub y times h over 300. Teka lang. Sigma sub y over h times 300 minus h. Yan, yung using similar triangles, ito yung makukuha natin na value dito sa bottommost portion. So palaging na-highlight ko na gagamitin niyo palagi yung similar triangles at this point. Now, considering that, you have for your cross-section, based dun sa cutoff natin, ito yung H sub O natin. So it features a triangle and a trapezoid. So kailangan nating i-establish that dA is some function of y. So function siya ng y. So paano nga ba siya? So kapag function siya ng y, ibig sabihin lang nito ay meron kang y minus h sub o. Kaya lang So yung dA natin ay meron kang horizontal strip. So meron tayong dy dito. Tapos gusto nating malaman ano yung b as a function of y. Yung distance from the neutral axis. Yan yung gusto nating malaman. So, paano nga ba ito? Paano natin siya ma-establish? So, kailangan natin ng konting setup sa ating algebra. So, meron kang kailangan natin mag-set ng boundary condition. So, yung unang boundary condition is y is equals to negative h sub o ay bibigyan ka ng b is equals to 0. Yan yung unang function. Second function, meron kang y is equals to 300 minus h sub o. This will give us b is equals to 300 mm. So get yung slope ng function. Yung slope ng function ay 1 actually. 1 yung slope ng function natin. So all we need to do is to plug in. So y sub 1, y sub 2, p sub 1, p sub 2. So meron kang y as your x coordinate, okay? So meron kang b minus 0. is equals to slope. Tapos meron kang y minus or plus h sub o. Ano yun? May naririnig lang ako. So yung function natin for b, as it turns out, is equals to y plus h sub o. So isa-substitute lang natin siya dito. dA is equals to dy times y plus h sub o. Yan yung hahanapin natin. So yan na yung dA natin. Tapos meron na rin tayong, may na-establish ba tayong function for sigma? Wala pa. So yung na-establish natin na function for sigma ay yung sigma naman na function natin, if gagawa natin to, so sigma is equals to sigma sub y over h times y. Yan yung ating function. Now, gagamitin natin yung unang equilibrium equation natin, summation of forces along x is equals to 0. So meron kang sigma dA na equal to 0. So isa-substitute lang natin yung function natin ng sigma. Meron tayong sigma y over h sub o. H sub o pala to. H sub o times y plus h sub o times dy. Ito yung integral natin. So integrate natin siya from negative h sub o to 300 minus h sub o. So yan yung bounds ng integration natin. And dapat equal to 0 siya. So ilabas lang natin lahat ng mga constant na terms. Yung mga constant na terms ay mahati pala to into 2. Yung constant na term ay sigma y, yung h dito. Tapos meron kang i-multiply into yung first integral mo na negative h sub o to 300 minus h sub o. And then meron kang y squared dy right there. Then plus, meron ka ritong h sub o times y dy negative h sub o to 300 minus h sub o. And as it turns out, itong term na to, yung dapat equal to 0, and this will enable you to solve h sub o to be equal to 200 mm. Grabe, no? Talagang minano-mano natin yung supposedly my over I. So this will actually reconciles yung ginagawa natin sa ES102 na hinahanap natin yung centroidal axis niya. So kapag nakuha na natin yung centroidal axis, we can actually proceed, kahit ignore mo na pala to, yung given na yung h sub o. So meron ka dito na summation of moment na equal to moment. Then meron ka rito na so alam mo na yung isa-substitute mo. So y sigma dA. Pareho lang din. So meron kang meron tayo rito na mababali into, hindi, plug-in lang muna natin. So sigma y over h. Then since meron ng y na kasama pa, so meron kang negative h sub, nilalagay na h sub, negative 200, tas this is 100, this is y cube dy, plus meron ka ng 300 dito. What? 300? 200. Tapos meron kang negative 200. 300 minus h sub o. Then meron kang y squared dy dito. Ito ngayon yung magiging value ng bending moment natin. So basically, what you'll be getting from here will be equal to, if we get yung INA, yung from the centroidal axis, so centroidal axis natin to, na 1 over 36 BH cubed. So if you're going to use INA to be equal to 1 over 36 BH cubed, then yung sigma y natin ay equal to 250 megapascal. Then yung ano natin, y max natin ay equal to 200. And kung pinlog in natin lahat siya, so meron kang sigma sub y, INA over y max. Makukuha natin yung kapareho na m sub y. So that is for the first na part. Now, since hindi na siya symmetrical, or wala, isa na lang yung axis of symmetry natin, it's not on the direction of the bending moment, kailangan natin naghahanap palagi ng centroidal, ng neutral axis. Hinahanap natin yung neutral axis. So for the elastic bending, kapareho lang din yung paradigm, katulad ng sa 102. Wala tayong problema doon. Pero sa 18, 151, sa 18, mag-iiba na. So you have the same triangle. Now we have plastic bending. Sa plastic bending, sinabi natin na we need to define some neutral axis. Hahanapin natin to. Hahanapin natin yung neutral axis kung saan siya yung magiging cut-off, kung saan lahat ng fibers na nasa taas niya under compression and yielding stress. Lahat ng fibers under tension ay under yielding stress din. Yielding stress pero tensile naman. So dapat daw yung force na nag-develop sa compression na side ay equal dun sa force na naranasan dun sa tension na side. Ito yung ibibigay sa atin nung equilibrium equation na ito. And to recall, again, yung sinetup natin na function dito ay piecewise such that this is negative sigma sub y if y is less than 0, then positive sigma sub y if y is greater than 0. How do we then find kung nasaan yung neutral axis? So what we wanted to find now is what's called PNA, the plastic neutral axis. The plastic neutral axis is where you observe this equilibrium na kung ano man yung force na naranasan sa compression ay equal dun sa force na naranasan dun sa tension. So how we will be computing that? So sorry, may dighay. Okay. Ano kaya yung magiging formula? Since equal or iisa lang naman yung value ng stress, sigma sub y, and yung formula natin for this is sigma dA. So ang lalabas na term, so this will become sigma sub y na constant, ibig sabihin regardless siya ng dA, may sigma sub y ka dito, tapos may dA ay dito. So what does this dA would represent? So this should be equal to 0. What we are defining is above the plastic neutral axis, you have negative area. Negative area dito. Sa baba ng neutral axis, kung saan tension, kasi doon yung positive y natin, ito yung positive area natin. So yung dA being equal to 0, all is simply saying that whatever is the area on the tension region should be equal to the area of the compressive region. May pa ba? So, kakailanganin natin ng konting geometry on this. Yung geometry would go as follows. So, kailangan natin mag-setup that you kind of need to establish H sub O ulit. Yung H sub O, it will look something like this, na meron kang area under compression, 1/2, tapos yung height, H sub O, and using yung ano natin, similar triangles natin, makukuha natin na H sub O din, kasi if we're going to use similar triangle, so ang gusto nating mahanap ay kung gaano kalaki ito. So you have 300 over 300 na equal to H sub O over kung gaano kalaki ito. Actually, kung gaano kalaki ito over H sub O. And what you'll get from similar triangle ay equal lang din dapat kay H sub O. So meron tayong H sub O dito. So coincidentally lang, dun sa binigay ko kasing example ay equal yung H over B. 1 yung H over B na ratio natin. Kaya lumabas na H sub O ito. Tapos dun sa tension na region, so no need to set up pa yung formula ng inyong trapezoid. Wala naman, pwede naman na gamitin niyo yung formula sa trapezoid. Wala namang pipigil sa inyo. So yung formula ng trapezoid would go as follows. Na meron kang 1/2, tapos meron kang 300 minus H sub O. So ito yung 300 minus H sub O natin. Then, yung sum between H sub O at saka 300. Wala namang pipigil sa atin doon. So, ito yung H sub O, ito yung 300, yung dalawang base natin. Ito yung height. Yan yung formula ng trapezoid. Or, you can simply do yung 1/2 300 times 300 minus 1/2 H sub O, H sub O. Ganyan siya. Yun yung makukuha nyo out of dun sa area ng triangle. So, dapat equal yung dalawa. So, equal itong si 1/2 H sub O is equals to 1/2 300 minus 1/2 H sub O. Lipat sa kabila, parang si Santa Claus lang, ho ho. H sub O. Then meron tayo rito na 45,000. So H sub O squared, technically siya. So meron kang H is equals to square root of 45,000. So yung square root niya ay 212.13. 0.13 millimeters. So yan yung H natin on this. H sub O rather, yung H sub O. And with that being obtained, pwede na natin actually makuha yung ating plastic moment. Pero this time, unlike dun sa pagkuha nung neutral axis, medyo kailangan nating i-breakdown siya into 1, 2, 3, 4 na force blocks. Bakit 4 na force blocks? This is your triangle. This is your neutral axis. And you have these regions having bakit pa ganun yung direction? These regions having sigma sub y. Yan yung compression pala, pabaliktad. Compression, pag ganito. Then, yung nasa baba, mahati siya into one rectangle. Then, meron kang dalawang triangle. May dalawa kang triangle. So, meron kang rectangle, tapos meron kang dalawang triangle sa result. So, meron tayong 1, 2, and 3, 4 na force block. So, yung una, So, mamarkahan ko lang. Ito yung magiging itsura ng ating ng force na diagram over our cross-section. Yung una will be compression. So, if this is, mamarkahan ko na, this is your plastic neutral axis. Yung in blue na compression ay pag ganito. Okay. This is force 1. Then, yung rectangular na part dun sa baba, banda siya dito sa gitna. This is force 2. Then, yung dalawang triangle, so ipag-add ko lang. So, this is force 3 and si force 4. You kinda need to take note yung location ng centroid ng bawat isa. So, this has a centroid of 212.13 divided by 3. This will have one half nung 87.87. 87.87 over 2. Tapos this one, so meron kang 87 times 2 divided by 3. So meron ka dito na 58.57. So yan yung mga location ng mga moment arm ng bawat isa. So, kailangan mo lang kunin yung magnitude. So for F1, yung area ng triangle, so 1 half h sub o squared. So 1 half h sub o squared. So meron tayong 212.13 squared divided by 2. Then i-multiply natin dun sa yielding stress natin na 250 MPa. Pero actually, pwede ipaubayan mo na ito mamaya. So meron kang 222,499.56. So basically, this is 22,500 times sigma sub y. Niyaan ko lang muna na nakahiwala yung sigma sub y dito. So nakalimutan ko i-include sa formula. So yung area ng triangle natin times sigma sub y. Yung f sub 2 natin will have h sub o times h sub o 300 minus h sub o. So meron kang 212.13 times 300 minus 212.13. So meron kang 18,639.86. And again, katulad ng nasa una, huwag natin kakalimutan si sigma sa buhay. So may sigma sa buhay pa din naman siya. May ganyan. Okay? Then si f sub 3 na siyang equal kay f sub 4. Or pwede ko lang sabihin na ipag-add ko na lang tong dalawa. I-add ko na lang tong dalawa. So yung natira dun sa triangle will look something like this. So 1 half times yung height na 300 minus h sub o. Tapos yung width na 300 minus h sub o. So yun yung parang yung trick. Pag pinag-combine mo yung dalawang triangle, kanya na lang yung magiging formula nung kanyang area. And kapag minultiply natin yung sigma sa buhay, makukuha din natin yung ating force. So meron kang 300 minus 212.13 squared times 0.5. So meron kang 22,000, wait. Mali. Naka-parenthesis, 300 minus 212.13 squared. Talaga pag calcu na divided by 2. So meron kang 3,860. 3,860.57 then sigma sa buhay. So yan yung bawat isa. Meron kang F1, meron kang F2, meron kang F3, and meron kang F4. So dapat pag pinag-add mo itong F2, F3, F4, equal lang siya kay F1. Yun yung theory behind this. So try ko nga, times 2 plus 18639.86. Teka. 2250 ba talaga? 212.13 squared divided by 2. 2250 nga. Then meron kang H sub O. Yun yung rectangular. Okay. So H sub O is 212.13 times 300 minus 212.13. Parang laki lang. 18639. Okay. Tapos, meron kang 300 minus 212.13. Okay. Then, squared divided by 2. Okay. 3860, then 18. Na-double ko ng pasok. Okay, 2250. Okay. So, pag pinag-add ko si F2, tas yung sum ni F3 at saka ni F4, that equal lang siya kay F1. So, totoo naman, tama naman yung nakuha natin from this. Tinake into account lang natin, so yung Y1 niya, yung distance niya from the PNA is 212.13 divided by 3. So, meron kang 70.71. Si Y2 naman, yung for the second force, so meron kang 300 minus H sub O, 212.13, divide ko by 2, meron kang 43.935. Then, yung Y3 and Y4 ko, na siyang equal naman to one another. So, meron akong 300 minus 212.13 times 2 divided by 3. So, meron kang 58.58 mm. So, yan, yung mga Y1 natin. Then, saka mo makukuha yung moment. Yung M sub P, yung gagawin mo, F1 times Y1 plus F2 times Y2 plus F3 plus F4, pinag-add na natin kanina, times either Y3 or Y4. Nakaganyan. So, meron kang 22,500 times 70.71. Tapos meron kang pang sigma Y dito. Plus 43.435. So, hindi lang sequential yung 18639.86. Then, meron ka pang plus 58.58. May sigma Y pa pala to. Sorry. 58.58 plus 3860.57 times sigma Y. So, gawin natin yung operation. So, 2250 times 70.71 plus 43.935 times 18639.86. Then, meron tayong 50.58 times 3860.57. So, meron kang 2.636 but may point. 069.44 sigma sub Y. So, bakit ko hiniwalay yung sigma sub Y? Sa plastic moment, kung meron kang section modulus sa yielding moment, this one is what's called the section of the plastic modulus. Pag minultiply mo yung plastic modulus with the yield moment, yield stress, makukuha mo yung plastic moment. So, kumpara natin siya dun sa makukuha natin sa kanina. So, unahin lang natin, M sub Y is equals to sigma sub Y times S sub X. Yung S sub X natin is INA over Y max. Yung Y max natin is 200 mm. Yung INA natin, sige, i-challenge na natin yung sarili natin na i-compute ito. So 300 times 300 times 300 raised to 3 divided by 36. Meron kang 225 million. Then, yung S of X ngayon, so pag dinivide natin yung yung Y max natin na 200, so meron kang 1125000 millimeter raised to 3. And kapag kinuha natin to, meron kang 1125 times 00 sigma Y. Yan yung M sub Y. Bakit kailangan na ikumpara itong dalawa? Inukumpara natin itong dalawa kasi we are getting what's called shape factor. Yung small letter K, shape factor. Yung shape factor natin dito ay equal to M sub P over M sub Y. The ratio between your plastic moment and your yield moment. And taking into account na si M sub P ay meron kang Z sub X times sigma Y, kasi M sub Y na meron kang S sub X over sigma Y, magka-cancel out lang yung sigma Y natin, we would arrive for having the shape factor to be equal to Z sub X over S sub X. Z sub X and S sub X are both independent of the bending stresses. So wala siyang pake kung ano yung yield stress mo. It's inherent on your cross section. So dependent lang siya sa cross section. This is only a dimensional na parameter. So physical siya. So sa dimensions mo lang makukuha yung shape factor mo, yung plastic modulus mo, and yung section modulus natin. And to provide a generalized formula for Z sub X, we are simply getting yung first moment of area ng top fibers mo from your plastic neutral axis dun sa first moment of area nung sa bottom fibers mo with respect to the plastic neutral axis. Yun lang yung ginagawa natin all the time. So what we're doing here is we have area, itong part na to, minultiply natin sa moment arm niya, which is basically yung location ng centroid niya with respect to the plastic neutral axis. Ganun din dito, na meron kang area, minultiply sa centroid niya. Meron kang area na minultiply sa centroid niya, so area multiplied by centroid is yung first moment of area natin. Questions? Sir, in construction po ba, sir, yung ginagamit for test is yung plastic limit, elastic, etc.? No, for design, especially sa 151, kailangan delivery talaga. Yung ginagamit sa sa hindi siya katulad ng sa 162 at saka sa 162 na plastic limit at saka liquid limit. So, yung plastic limit yung ginagamit sa flexure design. Pero kinukuha pa rin yung elastic limit kasi merong evaluate, although hindi na matatakal sa undergrad nyo, yung moment curvature relationship. Parang yung magiging implication nung non-linear na effects, syempre may nag-yield na fibers mo dun sa magiging deflections ng inyong beam. So for design, to reiterate, ginagamit ay plastic limit, hindi yung yield limit. So pag nagde-design ka na ng perlina, plastic limits na. Pag nagde-design ka na ng beams, steel beams, plastic limit na. So yun yung consequence niya. So, I leave you to be siguro kung wala tayong iba pang questions para makapagpahinga and samantalahin ang maaraw na panahon. Wala namang questions, no? Meron pa. Sir, paano po nakuha at na-breakdown yung so the question is, so to read it out loud, paano nakuha yung breakdown ng F1, F2, F3, F4 centroids po sa 3D stress block po to graph? So, nakuha siya by wala namang kaso sa atin dito na ano, how do you put this, na i-analyze mo siya as a trapezoid. Pero yung trapezoid, mas complicated yung pagkuha ng centroid niya. Pwede mong sabihin na iisang block lang siya. Pero halimbawa ay you have this cross-section, kasi ipapaano ko na lang to sa inyo, ibibigay ko na lang as reading. So meron kang T na section. Yung T section mo subjected to elastoplastic bending. So what you'll have perhaps dito ay, if i-draw ko siya ng 3D, 3D na naman. Okay. 3D, like this. You have a plastic na region. So, rectangular siya, na ganyan. Then, you have an elastic na region. So, magiging triangular stress block siya na ganyan. Then, triangular na region ulit. Naglagpa, nga lang, compression na to. Pero, mangyayari ay, pagdating dito, biglang lalaki yung inyong cross-section. So, ito, magiging trapezoidal yung stress profile mo dito. So, trapezoidal ito. So, kung kaya naman natin gawin in trapezoids, yun yung shortcut, why not? Pero syempre, since sinaaral natin to, pwede natin i-breakdown itong trapezoidal na stress profile na to into a rectangular na portion and yung triangular na portion. So, as a result of this decomposition, if i-enumerate natin yung bawat isa, so you'll have a single force dun sa rectangular na stress block sa baba, sa elastoplastic na part. Then dun sa elastic na part na under tension pa rin, meron ka pang isa. Then sa compression na part, meron ka pang isa. Then yung for the breakdown, so na-breakdown siya into rectangular and triangular. So you have a total of 5 stress blocks. So malaking advantage, pinaka-safe na atake talaga rito ay yung pag-breakdown into triangles or triangular blocks or rectangular blocks. So you identify yung tinatawag na stress block, only then you can find yung F1, F2, F3, and F4. I hope nasagot yung tanong on this. So, kamusta naman tayo dyan? Thumbs up naman kung gising pa. Ano ba ito? Naka-AI na, naka-program. Magta-thumbs up kayo kapag pag nagtanong si Sir. Okay naman, mukhang gising naman lahat. So, clear ang panahon ngayon, pero mamaya-maya uulan yan, no? So, I'll cut off muna yung lecture natin. So, parang technically early dismissal. Kasi what I'll be giving you instead ay reading notes and exercises. Kasi more of demonstrating kung gaano ba ka-tedious yung analysis. And yung last sem na mga exam dito, take note, yun yung pinakamadugo. So mga nag-C18 last sem, and alam niyo yung pinagdaanan niyo. So instead, I'll dedicate na lang yung rest of the class. Pahinga lang muna kayo, then magsusulat lang ako ng notes. So I would like to thank all of you for having the time to attend this online meeting. So thank you all. Na naman tanong. So see you all, hoping na face-to-face next week, August 25. So kita-kits tayo sa August 25. Thank you all, and that's all for today.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.